The Silent Bond. Hyannis was a town of quiet streets and friendly waves, but it had never known a child quite like Emily Thompson. At 6 years old, she arrived at her grandparents' aged Cape Stock home, carrying a small red backpack and a grief too heavy for her small frame. The crash had taken her parents, David and Claire Thompson, acclaimed canine trainers, and left Emily intact physically, but silent emotionally. Doctors called it selective mutism, a response to trauma. Therapists tried every method, puppet games, music, gentle coaxing, but nothing penetrated the fortress she had built around herself. Inside the Thompson household, a different language existed, one that no words could express. 6 German shepherds, Max, Bella, Luna, Duke, Shadow, and Rex, had once served law enforcement, search and rescue teams, and emergency units. Now they answered only to Emily. She didn't speak to them in words. Instead, subtle gestures, a tilt of the head, or a barely perceptible nod conveyed volumes. It was instinct, inherited perhaps from her parents' legacy, but she was the only one who could understand them. Her grandparents, Robert and Martha Thompson, were in their 70s and kind-hearted, but overwhelmed. Caring for Emily alone was already a challenge. Managing 6 highly trained dogs was a monumental task, yet they could not bring themselves to give the dogs away. They had seen what no doctor could explain, how the dogs could soothe Emily's trembling hands, curl around her at night like living shields, and fill the quiet void left by her parents' absence. Each morning, Emily would step out onto the porch just after sunrise. Her red sneakers scuffed softly against the wooden steps as the dogs fell into formation without leashes, moving as extensions of her will. Max, the largest and most commanding, took the lead, while Bella and Duke flanked her closely. Shadows moved with her, silent and disciplined. At first, they stuck to side streets and park tests and observations. As the days unfolded, Emily's silent world expanded, yet the town's whispers grew louder. Margot Ellery, the retired principal, had rallied concerned neighbors and parents, her petitions circulating like wildfire. What was once awe and fascination now teetered on fear. A 6-year-old alone with 6 full-grown German shepherds? Something will go wrong, murmured one worried parent. Emails flooded the town council, blogs went viral. Hyannis was abuzz, torn between marvel and alarm. Unaware of the storm, Emily continued her routines with meticulous precision. Each morning, the red sneakers appeared on the porch, and one by one, her pack gathered around her. Max led, muscles coiled and alert, while Luna and Bella flanked her with quiet authority. Shadow and Rex moved fluidly on the edges, ensuring no intruder or hazard approached unnoticed. Duke, the youngest and most playful, mimicked her every gesture, never leaving her side. The first evaluation team arrived on a crisp Monday morning. Dr. Elias Monroe, a child psychologist specializing in trauma and nonverbal communication, stepped from the government sedan with Janet Ruiz, a seasoned caseworker from the Department of Children and Families. Both were experts, yet the sight before them took their breath away. In the modest Thompson lived the public hearing. The morning sun spilled over Hyannis, casting long shadows across the courthouse steps. Inside, the Barnstable County Courthouse was a buzz of tension, anticipation, and whispered speculation. Locals filled the benches, cameras and smartphones at the ready, all eager to witness the child whose silent command over 6 German shepherds had captivated and unnerved the town. Emily Thompson arrived quietly, her small frame almost swallowed by the courthouse doorway. Her red sneakers topped lightly on the floor, yet every step carried confidence born of countless rehearsed routines. Beside her, Martha and Robert Thompson offered reassuring smiles, while the 6 dogs took their places instinctively. Max at her left, alert but calm. Luna and Bella close, forming a protective semicircle. Duke, aftermath, and confession. The courtroom had emptied hours ago, but the echo of Emily's words still lingered in the minds of those who had witnessed them. Outside, the town of Hyannis resumed its rhythm, yet something had shifted. Conversations in cafes and on porches revolved not around fear or judgment, but awe and wonder at the bond between the child and her 6 German shepherds. Back at the Thompson home, Emily's life returned to its quiet routines. Max rested at her side like a sentinel, while Luna, Bella, Duke, Shadow, and Rex sprawled near the living room rug. Martha brought tea for Robert, but her eyes often strayed to Emily. Renewal and acceptance. Spring arrived in Hyannis like a gentle promise. Sunlight streamed across the Thompson house, catching dust motes in its golden glow, painting warmth across the worn wooden floors. Emily awoke early, her small feet padding quietly on the carpet as she made her way to the living room. Max, ever alert, rose from his place beside the window, while the other 5 German shepherds stretched and followed her movements like shadows in perfect synchrony. It had been weeks since the court hearing, weeks since Margot Ellery's confession, and something remarkable had begun to settle in Emily's heart. Her voice, fragile but steady, had begun to return in small doses, reserved for moments of trust, comfort,